Hey, this is Garrett, and I'm with Command Z in the Art of NGF, and this is basically step 2 of 3. I covered all 3 steps in a longer video that is posted in the Command Z Facebook page, posted on the Art of NGF Instagram account, and also posted on the Radical Stress Relief page, and then my personal page, where you might be viewing this now. So that's Garrett Dawn. You can also add me there if you're seeing this somewhere else. So step 1 was come back home to the body, and that's with the host of Radical Undoing techniques, among other devices. And step 2 is end fake suffering with imagination training. And then step 3, which we'll cover in a future video in more detail, is embracing your life as an endless adventure. Embracing life as an adventure. Each of these keys, I like to say keys may be better than steps because they all work together, but they do happen in order at first. So the first one was come back home to the body. That way you know the difference between the body and the activities of the mind. You can keep the mind located where the body is, and then everything else can make more sense. So you can check out the video about come back home to the body. You'll see a view of the river Drava here in Osijek. Right now you can see the view of a little slice of Osijek, some of the trees and some of the yards and buildings. So with that in the background, let's talk about ending fake suffering. So this is the second component of the core of the Command Z training, for all the Command Z training. So ending fake suffering with imagination training. So we need to say, what is imagination training? Well, it is a constant form of awareness and training that you use to become aware at first of the activities of the mind and how that works and how that's affecting you in your life. Most often, the crude basic form of this training is just to become aware that you are creating suffering in your own mind. That's right, you're creating suffering in your own mind. So suffering that's created in the mind by the individual, I call that fake suffering. Sometimes I refer to that activity as the inner activity of the inner victim. So you're creating fake suffering in your mind, and through doing so, you establish the inner victim. So this is anything: self-doubt, shame, guilt, thinking that you're a piece of shit, having regrets, being upset when everything around you is okay, and unable to take action, being paralyzed by the thoughts running through your mind. One simple way to begin this is just to simply stop trusting the thoughts. Stop believing that the thoughts are your own and that they're coming from you, and stop obsessing over them. Stop giving them so much importance. That will go a long way to ending the fake suffering, because you'll learn and become aware of new ways to operate that aren't simply based on your thoughts. Then from there, the next level of the imagination training is then discovering new ways for your mind to operate. And you can do this with extremely simple and fun approaches, including watching certain TV shows in a very specific way. This is where you flip the switch on in your awareness or in your presence, so that you're not just a consumer of a TV show, you're not just a consumer of media, but instead you become a participant in whatever show you're watching or whatever situation is going on in your life. So the imagination training is becoming aware of what's going on in your mind and how it is conceptualizing, how it is giving and shaping your perspective on everything that happens. So here's an example. In my own life, I received some news that I really didn't want to receive and that I didn't like. And my mind took it that way. But I noticed that my mind was immediately trying to give me a sense of self-pity, give me a way to feel like a victim, and give me things I could complain about and be upset about and feel desperate and needy about to the people around me. So instead of doing that, I immediately knew that I did not trust those thoughts. I did not have to run with those thoughts. And I focused all my awareness, and even though the thoughts continued, I focused all my awareness on the sensations in the body. Doing so, I became then more present and aware of what was going on around me. And then also, I started to remember all the opportunities I have, all the things I'm working on in life and in business and in friendships, and then became much more able to take advantage of the opportunities and to utilize my mind, to utilize my own creativity to start to generate not only solutions, but even to become aware of the beauty and the profound mystery of just having an existence, of just having a body at all. Then from that point, everything that I was ignoring started to become an inspiration. I looked outside, I saw the crows flying by. So every morning they come from over on the left of where this video is showing, which is away from the river. They come from there, every night they come from there and fly over to the river, which is over to the right of where you're looking in the video. Then at the end of the day, early in the morning, then they fly from the river back over to the woodlands and the wetlands to the left of where you're looking. So I became aware just of the movement and the beauty of the nature and of the people and of the situations and the sounds all around me. By becoming aware of that, then I also was able to have more awareness of all the passing motions and emotions and thoughts and things inside myself. And in that presence, then I was much more easily able to direct my focus where I wanted to direct it. So on writing an email to my list for the day, or to making posts about the upcoming Art of NGF De-Victimization Radical Undoing workshop in the UK, for an example. Then my writing was much more focused. I knew again what I'm doing this for, what I actually give a shit about and what I don't give a fuck about. And I ended up converting a potential suffering situation into a creative, enjoyment, celebratory, and productive experience in myself. And then looking back at times in my life before I knew about this imagination training, before I knew that the mind has been crafted by years or decades of training to create suffering, which keeps you locked in place, which then allows others to take advantage of you, either on an employment level or on a person-to-person relationship level, or on any level really. So looking back in my life, I could see how events that have occurred in my life now that I've been able to use to generate more productivity, more excitement, more creativity, those same events, that same bad news, so-called bad news, like I used to call it, if I would have received that 20 years ago, I would have been devastated. I would have taken no action. I would have felt like a complete loser. And then in believing that to be true and in creating that fake suffering, I would have acted like a complete loser. I would have complained to the people around me. I would have blamed all the external circumstances for why I was unhappy and for why I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. So nothing dramatic has changed about me, except I now know intimately how to perform the imagination training on a moment by moment, day by day, constant basis, so that my mind is a source of inspiration and motivation and creativity and productivity, and then simple joy and celebration, whereas it used to be a tool for making me believe that I was a victim of my own life. So hopefully that communicates to you in a nutshell the vastness and the vast potential of imagination training. It has the potential to allow you to shift your perspective at any moment, no matter what's going on around you, and then to give you direct access to the resources you do have, to the creativity you do have, and to your ability to dive into life, to enjoy it, and to actually accomplish what you want to accomplish, no matter what happens around you, no matter what so-called bad news you receive. So there is a way to do this. The label I put on it is imagination training. The beginning of imagination training is just to stop the fake suffering. The fake suffering you create in your mind is you're just bleeding out potential. You're bleeding out your resources. When you spend your time complaining, getting upset with other people, begging for help, acting like a victim, you end up wasting 90% of your own efforts on creating the sense of being a victim and then proving it to yourself by taking actions that reinforce your own fake suffering. So it creates a feedback loop of doom, a feedback loop of garbage in which you complain, you get upset, you don't end up doing the things you want to do, and then you blame your circumstances for your failure to do what you want to do, and then you complain again about those circumstances, then you don't end up taking the right actions or having the right mindset, and then you end up still not succeeding at what you want to do, and then again you blame the failure on your circumstances, and that cycle goes on and on forever. So imagination training is the way to break the cycle of fake suffering and keep moving forward in your life. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please like, share, and comment, and if you have situations in your life that this has helped you solve or that you want me to address in the comments, I'm happy to do that. You can also message me personally or message the Command Z Facebook page and share this with your friends who you think could benefit from ending fake suffering. And then finally, if you want to learn all 3 steps, number 1, coming back home to the body, experiencing that. Number 2, ending the fake suffering in your mind and in your life, and then helping the people around you to do the same. And then finally, embracing your life as the adventure it is, then I recommend you come to the full immersion Radical Undoing workshop in the UK, September 20th through the 27th. I'll put a link for that below in the comments. Or if you're watching this on Instagram, it's there in the bio. You only have about 8 days left to sign up. The deadline is September 1st, 2019 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. All right. End the fake suffering in your mind. Train your imagination to live the best life it's possible for you to live, and stop giving a fuck about all the bullshit that you think holds you back. See you again soon with part 3.